All right, we'll call this Board of Directors meeting to order at 7:07 p.m. This board has a land acknowledgement anti-racism statement that are posted on the board's website. Roll call tonight, just missing Kanu at the moment, which I think she is attending. Might be running a little late. So yeah, otherwise everyone else is here. Move to adoption of the agenda. I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda to add a closed session for legal after item number 3, property owner comments, and before continuing business.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, make a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, moving on to announcements. Do we have any announcements? Nancy?
Yes, I have an announcement or two here. The Board of Directors vacancy application period is in progress, and that is for an appointment to one open seat on the board. Download your application from the link on the announcements webpage or pick up a hard copy from the pamphlet rack, and there are copies waiting for you. I checked this afternoon. The signed hard copy application is due at the admin office on Thursday, June 30th by 4:30 p.m. and emailed applications will not be accepted. So if you are thinking of running for the board at a future date, this is an opportunity to spend roughly 3.5 months finding out if you really want to be on the board from personal experience. And now to the second part is the annual general meeting is closer than you think. It's about 5 months from today. The 2022 AGM will be the afternoon of November 5th. And this is an important AGM. 5 board seats will be open on the 9-member board. 5 is a majority. A majority vote of the board of directors determines what our annual dues, assessments, and special assessments payments will be. Because dues and assessments are combined into a budget, and that budget is placed on the ballot by a majority vote of the board. If the budget is not rejected by owners holding a majority of all votes in the association, the budget is ratified. That means the total no votes must be about 1,569 votes, or the budget passes. 1,569 is more members than voted in the last 2 AGMs. In other words, 5 people will determine what your monthly payment will be. So unless you are a trust fund baby and don't care what happens to mere mortals, give this AGM the attention it deserves. But wait, there's more. The Architectural Control Committee has 8 open positions in a 9-member committee. The Nominations and Elections Committee has 5 open positions on a 5-member committee. And the chairs of those committees become non-voting board members. The chairs can speak at meetings and make announcements for whatever that's worth. So give this AGM the attention it deserves. And this has been a public service announcement. Thank you.
Dan?
Yeah, my is probably not as compelling as at least in the presentation as Nancy's, but so I just have 4 announcements that I think we need to make sure that folks in the community are aware of. These have gone out on e-blast the last couple of days, or one might be going out tomorrow. The first is letting folks know that the Lake Whatcom Water and Sewer District is upgrading some sewer lines, and so that's requiring a road closure of Louise View Drive from 7:30 a.m. until 7 p.m. on both June 14th and 15th. So there's going to be some signed detour routes through Clematis to Bramble Way to Salal Drive, then to Wisteria and back on to Louise View. But, you know, at rush hour, both coming and going, there may be a little bit of delay. So please have a little patience, allow a little time on your commute, and understand this is essential to upgrade the sewers in that area. Secondly, I just want to let folks know we sent out emails to all the folks I think that received these emails, but there was a data breach of Sudden Valley's email, specifically to emails that go to Marina patrons. And so many members of those groups received an email advocating for the recall of 3 members of the Sudden Valley Community Association Executive Committee. And I have no issues with people politicking one way or the other, but our data belongs to the community association, and it was inappropriate for somebody to take it, just like if a bank had put money in your account, it's not yours all of a sudden to use. So we've taken action to make sure that our staff understand why it's important to use BCCs when we're sending out mass emailings like that. And we've asked people not to abuse those emails that have gotten a hold of them. So anyway, we want you to know we take the data protection very seriously, and we're reviewing our internal processes to prevent this type of error from occurring again, and putting appropriate policies and cyber education in place to make sure that we don't have this happen again. Next, Clean Green, just a reminder, again, we've been sending out notices on this, but there's a Clean Green event tomorrow or Saturday from 9 to 3 in the parking area across from Lake Louise Road, across from Gate 5. And I want to make sure that folks understand that this event's a little bit different. We're only accepting woody debris, so branches up to small logs between about 1 and 6 inches in diameter. No grass clippings or other yard waste, in other words. And finally, we've got street sweepers that started sweeping yesterday throughout Sudden Valley. They're going to be, this is one part of the annual summer work program that we put together by the administration and the board in March and April for work that we plan to do once the watershed is open for construction activities and other activities on June 1st. So along with Whatcom County, the city of Bellingham, we're obligated to reduce the impact on pollutant loading, or TMDL standards, in Lake Whatcom. The lake is designated as an impaired body by the US EPA, which results in more stringent oversight. And so as a result of that, this year we chose to contract to use vacuum sweepers as opposed to the sweeper we have in-house, which doesn't remove the debris, it just moves it around into the culverts or the like. And so doing the vacuum sweeping, it's a best management practice as defined by the Washington State Department of Ecology. We get some credit for this reduction as an offset to the phosphorus and other pollutants that are determined to have originated from Sudden Valley and end up in Lake Whatcom. And it also helps us build stronger relationships with our partners at the city and county as we work together to address this shared challenge. So this year, again, it's going to cover all the roads in Sudden Valley, starting with gates 2 and then 1 and 5, followed by gates 9, 13, and 3. So please try to be careful when you're in the vicinity of the street sweeper. And if any changes if any changes occur in the scheduling, we'll send an update of that as well. So again, please keep safe while we're keeping it clean. Thanks.
Any other announcements?
Thanks for using my tagline, Dan. I like that.
I am not above using anybody's words. Thanks for writing it.
All right, move on to property owner comments.
So is Rich, you're muted
Yeah.
if you're, okay.
Yeah, so I see Kathy Morrow had her hand up first, so I'm bringing her over. Go ahead and unmute yourself and you can start right now.
Can I just say something first so we had a discussion earlier that we want to keep the comments because of time and other reasons to 3 minutes. So if people are going over, we're going to try to monitor that. And if you go too much over, you're going to be cut off, just to let folks know.
Kathy, you there?
Are you there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, I just wanted to say something very briefly. I think it's time that the board presents itself at the barns in public. I think Zoom is no longer necessary, and I would like to have open meetings with all of the people who would like to choose to be there, and I'd like the board to be there as well. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to Linda, going to put you over to allow to talk. Go ahead and unmute.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, my name is Linda Bradley, 5 Wisteria Lane, and I have the following announcement to make. I've been asked to notify the board that pursuant to Article 2, Section 2, and Article 3, Section 5A of the bylaws, 3 individual petitions with the required 10% of the votes in the association have been gathered. The purpose of the petitions are to direct the president to call a special general meeting within 60 days of the receipt of the petitions. The petitions submitted call for removal of 3 executive directors, Andrew Tischleiter, Joshua Bowens, and Sonia Wold, aka Volt, be placed on a ballot for a vote of the membership. Under normal conditions, these petitions would be presented to the president at this time. Given that we are in a virtual Zoom meeting, the petitions will be delivered by the petitioners to the offices of the association's registered agent at Schmelik, Sitkin, and Davis on Monday, June 13th, 2022, to be secured for the president to take custody of and set the date of the special general meeting. So that's kind of what we're doing. And they asked that I present the information, and the petitioners will drop off the petitions at Schmelik, Sitkin, and Davis on Monday for you to pick up, Andrew, and then decide, then you're going to have to start the process. You're probably going to have to call a special meeting to set the date, because until you are presented with them,
Yeah, okay, Linda, I don't need to be told how to do it.
That's cool. No problem. That's all I
Deal
got.
with it once you deliver them.
That's true. That's all we need to make sure of. So thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, Linda, moving you back over, going to Heather. Heather Goodman, you're back in and you can unmute and speak.
Thank you. I think interrupting Linda was rude and unnecessary. I will say that I am seconding the first speaker. It is time to come back into in-person session for the board. Now, if for members, we want to have a Zoom up for them, that may be one thing, but it is time for the board to meet at the barn in one location in person for the members to gather in front of them. Nowhere else is still being retained in a remote manner. It's just unnecessary at this point. I have many other points, but today that's my main one. Thank you.
Okay, removing you from the group and going to pull David over. David Gustafson, you can go ahead and unmute.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Very good. My name is David Gustafson. I had the privilege and honor to meet with close to 60 homeowners last Sunday during a couple of community meetings. I listened to over 4 hours of comments about the board of directors and the executive committee. With 2 exceptions, the comments were all negative. It made it very clear that most members of SVCA believe the board is not attuned to or receptive to the needs and wants of the community. You obviously have a clear and serious problem with communications and attitude. So if the members of the executive committee want to make any kind of statement at this point about their dedication to this community, the only sentence that would make any sense right now would contain only 2 words: I resign. The majority of the members are tired of you. Thank you.
Okay, so moving you back on over, going to go to Karen, going to bring you over. You can unmute and talk when you're ready.
I think 60 people constitute a majority of the members, so we'll let the vote speak for
Hey,
itself.
Andrew, thank you. Are you talking about Karen Hardesty or Karen? Can I go?
You're up,
Yeah,
Karen.
yeah,
Hardesty.
yeah. I pulled you over so you can go ahead.
Super. I have a few things to say. First of all, thank you again for all that you have done. I'm so sorry that there are people in our community who haven't paid attention, who aren't following what's been done, and for some reason, I don't understand what's going on. I don't, because I've been following you, and I'm so grateful. Number 2, please keep doing Zoom meetings. I just heard someone say nowhere else. My church, my business, every meeting, my counselors, my doctors, my whatever, they're all doing Zoom. All right? Everyone is still doing Zoom for the protection of the community. And to think that it would be easier to communicate with people if they all had to schlep themselves to the barn, go up there, find a seat, sit next to each other. I'm so grateful for Zoom. But the last thing, and by the way, I've been on a number of boards, from national boards to local boards to very local boards. And I'm going to ask, I believe Miss DePolder would be Ms. DePolder to please learn about what's appropriate to be speaking about at the beginning of a board meeting, because you have been out of line several times. I've written to the board about it. I don't understand why you can't follow protocol and deal with your issues elsewhere. And lastly, this is not a request to the board. I think y'all are great, but I think you're really bad at tooting your own horn. Because what? Why? Because you're volunteers and you don't have time to toot your horn, right? So this is an appeal to the staff. Please, Dan, Mr. Johnson, please stand up for your board and produce some information about all the great things that have happened in the last 2 years. Because there's a lot of baloney being passed around on Facebook. A lot of people think that Facebook doesn't matter. We're just doing good things. We'll just keep doing good things. But you know what? It does matter, because somehow 60 whole people thought that it was really important to get rid of you. By the way, 60 is not a majority of the residents. I know you know that. It's not a majority of the homeowners, etc. But I know you can hear my frustration. But I'm asking the staff, please. I know you're fairly new. If you need help, reach out. Please produce some factual information about all the stuff that has been accomplished in the last 2 years. Put out some kind of report. Dan, your manager's report could be longer if you want to. Whatever it is, we need to be getting some information out there, because this recall thing is driving me crazy. It's wrong. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves, okay? Thank you. I'm out.
Thanks, Karen.
All right, Karen, putting you over. Going to bring
Since she
Ann
brought-
over.
May I say something? She didn't say what I specifically that was wrong, and she'd be a little bit more believable if she could get my name right. But don't just say I did something wrong and then not have some explanation of what she thinks I did was inappropriate.
Okay, Ann, you can go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to reiterate that, to say that 60 members, pretend that 60 members is a majority, when especially many of those members were part of the 315 who voted against the bylaw to limit dues when 1685 voted for it. So we understand what a majority is, and they are not it. Thank you.
All right, gonna move you back over. Gonna bring Connie next. Connie, you're in the group. Go ahead and unmute.
Thank you, Connie Hopper, 35 Tumbling Water Drive. I attended that meeting because I like to hear from all sides. And I will say that there might have been 63 people, but all those 63 people were not taking the side that they're saying for recall. I was there to gather information. It was in no way support. And there were several other people there that were in no way support. So you're talking maybe 40 people there that were. That is hardly a majority. To claim that a majority residents do not support you is ridiculous, ridiculous. So anyway, I appreciate the job you're doing. I know it's tough. You're volunteers. You know, nothing's ever going to be perfect. You're not going to please all the people all the time, but I think you're doing a great job and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Connie.
All right.
Hey,
Connie,
real
quickly.
quick, Rich, real quick, because you're just kind of going through this, which is awesome. But I just want to say, Connie, it's awesome hearing from you. Haven't heard from you in forever. And Karen, who just spoke, has the absolutely most beautiful singing voice. Hopefully you guys can hear that someday, like at the Valley Fair or something like that. But blown away. Never heard anything like it. So yeah, real quick.
Okay, so we're gonna bring Raul over. I'm sorry, I butchered your name. Go ahead and unmute and talk when you're ready.
That's okay. I live on gate 3, and I know one thing. Those people aren't speaking for me on my behalf, because I can only bring on one issue, but I got to do this quick because I got another issue. I can say one thing: the transfer fee issue. And again, it's the same board. You guys are left with a mess to clean up. You know, it's karma comes with a price. You know, the extra whatever money called HOA was, you know, we just want money, you know, without any. If you would have gotten that towards the actual homeowner's dues every month, then I would say, yeah, it's fine. I'm good with that. But you're not going to get money for free. Anyways, so my main problem is the same board, that board with Leslie Brown and those people. In 2019, Guava went to that board and said they had a problem in the restaurant, a leak. Back in 2014, same board, the previous owner of that restaurant, Bob's Burger Place or something, also pointed out there was a leak in that restaurant. Now that's a lot of years. Now, as a community member, I don't want any part of my homeowner's dues to go to a frivolous lawsuit. I'm not saying it's going there, but you know, they're good friends of mine. I go there often, and all they want to do is speak to a couple of you, maybe Josh and Dan, and sit across the table from them and talk. Don't get involved with the attorneys. Okay, this is solvable. This is you can find a solution without costing a whole lot of money. First of all, they've been left out of any conversation, any updates. The only updates they get is from Sun Valley View. No communication. So please, you know, they bring a lot of business here. They brought over 300 customers from the golf tournaments just in this past 2 weeks. And I was there a month ago when they had 72. And, you know, they got 2 contractors bonded that they would say that they can go in and do it in a very quick time. Why don't you interview these 2 people and involve them? Perhaps you can come up to some kind of, and they'll be willing to help finance part of this cost. So take that into account, please, and talk to him, Dan and Josh or AJ. Take a half an hour or so, give them a call, set up an appointment, and sit down and talk to them. You know, they've been here.
I have sat down and talked to him, Raul.
No, that's not.
He has stopped communicating with us. So
okay, we'll try again.
Why I came to this.
We'll try again. Wait. Let me finish. I want to use up my time now. If you guys are going to make up your mind, you're going to make up your mind. Just try. Just sit across the table. No attorneys. Exchange ideas. And again, this is a mess you guys are left with. This is the same board Leslie Brown, Larry Brown, Leslie McRoberts, the GM, back from 2014 to 2019. It behooves you to clean it up. Clean it up. Don't make it worse by getting lawsuits involved. Okay, because they also got documentation from that owner, from the Bob's owner, that there were problems there then that were leaking water that they didn't fix. That's all I gotta say. Thank you. Bye.
So can I respond to that? Just to clarify something, we have sat down with him quite a bit, number one. Also with his attorney, we have several times reached agreements with them and then they don't follow through on their side. That's not us, but we are continuing to move forward with the repair of that restaurant. It is extensively damaged. There was quite a bit of water damage. There's plumbing, there's electrical, there's code issues. They moved into a restaurant that did not meet code when they moved into it. And as you said, those leaks were already there. Then the previous board, which I want to be real clear because there's rumor that there's a falsity being said that we somehow have been around. Most of us have been on this board for less than a year. We have been the board majority for just a little over a year and a half. We have not controlled this situation. That was a previous board and they allowed that. They ignored that water leak. And the first time any of us heard about it was when the ceiling collapsed down onto the golf pro shop. We took immediate action. We've continued to take immediate action, but it is extensive. And there, not only that, we have to deal with the county and we have to deal with contracting issues during COVID and labor shortages, et cetera. It's not a simple task. Plus that is an old building that needed extensive assessments before we go in and just put walls back up, put floors back up and put equipment back in. That being said, and I want to also clarify something. The person that you're talking about, Jose Cruz Landeros is not the owner of El Agave. That is an important note. There's a lot of misinformation going around, but we do communicate, but the the lease is signed by a friend of his. It is not that family that owns El Agave. We have a lot of steps that we have to go through every time that we make a move and a decision regarding that restaurant, because there's layers of people that we have to deal with. So I want to be really clear. We're continuing to move forward to take care of the restaurant. We have a project manager on it. We're following all of the laws and we're making sure that it'll be done correctly. So please, please stop buying into the rumors that are going around. And also, there's not been any golf tournaments lost because of the restaurant.
All right, Tom. So you're the only hand raised so far. I'm gonna bring you on over. You can go ahead and unmute when you're ready.
Hi, Tom Henning, 27 Bar Lane. Rich, I'd like to sit down and meet you. Really would. I think we might hail from the same neck of the woods. My only comment is there's focus on 60 people attending a meeting on Sunday. I think the more important, I don't know how many signatures have been gathered, but that's probably the more important number to focus on. And that's it. Thanks.
All right, so we've gone through the round already. Oh wait, there's somebody
Nancy,
new.
I'll let Nancy go ahead.
Okay.
Before the other two come back.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank Mike at Pacific Security for helping a contractor to find an appropriate place for a porta potty. And I appreciate Mike's professionalism with the contractor and the porta potty. That's all.
Which mic is that?
Security mic.
Pacific Security.
I know, but
Yeah.
isn't there two mics?
It's Mike Hughes. It's the guy.
Mike Houston. Mike
Oh,
Houston.
okay. Yeah, he's cool. I like
He's a
Mike
very
Houston.
good guy. We're really
Yeah.
fortunate to have him.
And he had a new sidekick with him, Kevin.
So I'm going to
Okay.
bring Ann over. Ann, you're brought over. You can go ahead and unmute.
Thank you. I just wanted to add real quick, that actually came up at the meeting. Carol Holton, former board director, actually brought that up about the golf tournaments and made a point of saying that she talked to Brian Krulak, and Brian Krulak told her that no golf tournaments have been lost due to El Agave. So the 50 people at that meeting were all witnesses to that as well. Thank you.
All right, so that's everybody.
All right, we'll move on. Next item is a closed session. Motion to move into closed session for legal.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we'll see you over there.
That was weird. What the heck? Ah, ah.
Had to pull my agenda up. Canoe keeps having trouble logging in as a panelist. I'm not quite sure. Do we need to?
She's over in the audience right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bringing her.
Okay.
Or she was. No, she disappeared.
Thank you, John.
Oh,
I think we have everyone. Yep, I think we had everyone. Motion to move back into open session.
Motion to move back into open session at 8:11 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The board's going to be taking one official action as a result of closed session. I make a motion that the board of directors ratify the executive committee's decision to execute a settlement agreement with Lakeside Marine Incorporated.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes. Canoe, that's unanimous with Timey recused. All right, just a quick statement on that. So the Sun Valley and Lakeside Marine have come to a settlement agreement on the Marina launch ramp dock. The details that I'll disclose: at the time we entered into a contract with them, and I believe it was around 2020 for around $41,000. We've agreed to a settlement for Lakeside to return roughly $34,000 back to Sun Valley. The Lakeside Marine will, as a result, take back ownership of the pieces of dock, the upland and floating portion, but the in-water work and steel pilings will remain, and that is what the $7,000 is covering. And so, yeah, that's basically Sun Valley is being made whole for the work that is not able to remain. And Sun Valley will be moving forward with design and permitting and construction on a new structure. P&W and Tyler and Dan and Rich are moving that forward at this point in time. There will be a significant amount of time to deal with the dock still. We have to get a shoreline substantial development permit, which will take at least 3 to 4 months to get. And then after that, there'll need to be building permits filed and approved before construction can begin. So hopefully Tyler, Rich, and Dan will have some more details for us on more specifics, timelines at one of the next couple meetings. All right, moving on to continuing business. So we have contract award for the 2020 roads project. This is the rebuilding of Spring Road, Cascade Lane, and Green Hill Road. We already obligated the funds for this project previously, I think at the May 4th meeting, if I'm not mistaken. And at this point, we are just moving forward with giving approval for the award of the contract. So the Tyler sent over a memo with the kind of outlining his bid process and bid results. The bid tabs are there for everyone to see. Tiger Construction came in as the low bidder on the project and actually came in about almost $100,000 under what the engineer's estimate was for the amount that we actually ended up obligating for the project. So that's excellent. And yeah, Tiger's a very reputable company in the county, and I definitely expect some good work out of them. So yeah, I would make a motion that the board of directors approve the award of a contract to Tiger Construction as the low bidder for the 2022 roads project.
Second.
Keith, you got a question?
Yeah, just real quick. I'm sorry to do that. The question I had is, I don't know how big the contract was, but $100,000 under even an engineer's estimate is a significant amount. I mean, are we going to be expecting some overages then? Change orders or?
Well, the bid's under what we obligated, so I wouldn't expect anything like that. And the bid holds. So unless additional work somehow has to result that wasn't identified, I wouldn't expect anything like that.
Okay, cool.
I can, as someone who puts together engineers' estimates, I can say it's a little bit challenging right now with the way the economy has been working, and some of the prices with things are varying greatly. From month to month, even availability waxes and wanes from month to month. So I think it's great that our engineer's estimate or that the bid's coming in lower than the engineer's estimate for sure. Any other questions on awarding that contract? All right. We'll call the question. The motion on the table is to award the contract to low bidder Tiger Construction. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That passes unanimously. All right. Moving on to the bylaws Wycoa footnote. I'll pass it over to Nancy, I think, is taking lead on this.
Yeah, Sonia bailed on that. But this is just putting forth a more understandable comment to what Wycoa did to our bylaws. And the way it was done previously was there was just this big line that says the above paragraph 19 AI was superseded, made void in 2018 by action of state law, and then gives the RCWs. There's nothing in our bylaws that told people how the dues were voted on. There was nothing that said it had to be a combined budget. You couldn't vote on assessments and dues separately or any of the things we used to do. It just told people to go read a law. And I've read that law, and I don't care how many times you read it, you will have a different interpretation each time, unless you're a lawyer. So the document review committee got together and wrote another footnote that explains in better detail what happened, and it's included in your agenda packet. And I'll just read what it says. It says, important footnote in bold with a big star. The above paragraph, section 19AI, is superseded by RCW 6490-525 per RCW 6490-085-2. The original bylaw verbiage has been retained to reserve all rights in the event RCW 649085-2 no longer applies. And then for an explanation of what WICOA did to our voting was under RCW 6490-525 per RCW 6490-085-2. Our annual dues, assessments, and special assessments payments are combined into a budget, and that budget is placed on the ballot by the board of directors. If the budget is not rejected by owners holding a majority of all votes in the association, the budget is ratified. And at least that's more of an explanation.
So, sorry, do I need to raise my hand? I know we did this in document review. I just got to thinking though, I wonder if we should take out the part where it says combined into a budget, because we can put a special assessment. Special assessment can go on a ballot and it's not combined into the budget. It's just a special assessment. Like, I'm just saying, I guess, I mean, technically it'll be combined into a budget, but
I don't think it can. I don't think you can vote on anything separately. Anything that becomes a month goes into the monthly payment.
No, it's still
has to be-
it's a separate vote. The special assessment's still a separate vote. Like we could not change the budget and we could add a special assessment. It's a separate vote. I'm just saying.
That's
I'm sorry.
not what Richard said. Richard being the lawyer, Richard, not the operation manager, Richard. That's a new one, Sonia. That's the first time you.
Well, I didn't think about it yesterday when we were talking about this, and then I was thinking they're not always presented combined. They could potentially be two separate items, not combined.
We'll have to go back and look at the lawyer's opinion.
Okay.
That no, that's what the killer was. We used to be able to vote on assessments separately, and we lost that.
Well, but why can't we just word it? Our annual dues, assessments, and special assessment payments are placed on the ballot by the board of directors.
Okay.
Or we could say our annual budget, dues, assessments, and special assessment payments. So you're still referencing the budget, the annual dues, assessments, and special assessment payments, without saying they're combined.
Well, what this does is it postpones putting out the new bylaws, which I finally got all into format. We'll just have to table it.
Well, we don't necessarily have to table it.
Postpone it,
It's discussion. What do you think, AJ?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I guess I don't know right offhand without doing a bit more research about the combined thing versus if it could be voted on separately. Right at the moment in this meeting, I don't see any major issues with the language that you just suggested either. So
Maybe just double check with the lawyer again.
Yeah, we could have a vote, Nancy, that we just run it by Richard, and then whatever that final language is, then we just, can we do that, AJ? Then we just
vote next meeting on it.
Or,
finalize
okay.
it.
Well, I was just thinking, or just accept his language, but yeah, I guess we have to vote. Yeah, you're right. And
Yeah,
Nancy,
we
my
just-
apologies, because Nancy actually brought this up so it could get finalized today, and that's my fault, because we had this meeting, I didn't catch that yesterday, and I apologize. It just.
Well, let's see what Richard says, because as he said before, you can't separate things. It's one package.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't.
Vote on.
We just don't want to trip on the language, even though it's a footnote. So the other main thing
Sure.
too, it's
Okay, enough time on this. We'll
okay.
just postpone for a later deal.
So let's put it on for
Not
the
table, table.
not table.
means it
We're gonna put
goes
it on
away.
the next.
We're postponing it.
To the
Yes.
next agenda.
Yeah.
And
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Well,
Better
move,
be.
Right?
we'll move forward then to the Marina parking lot grading project, and I'll pass it over to, I think Rich is taking this one.
Hey, good evening, everybody. If you look in your packet, you'll see the write-up where we had P&W go over what we're going to be doing. So taking care of the existing gravel surface graded, filling potholes, and import placing a new new gravel as necessary. Maintenance staff will be adjusting curb stops, purchasing new ones and replacing the ones that are either missing or damaged. Staff will be numbering all the curb stops, painting parking lines for vehicles so that it's maintained through the summer, and add signage to clarify parking. So the motion to the board, the project's supposed to take 2 days. I'm sorry, the project's supposed to take approximately 2 days to complete. We were giving fair market rates by PMP. And the motion I would say that the board needs to consider is the motion to fund the Marina parking lot improvements project from roads funds for $29,856.37 as identified in this proposal dated June 7th, 2022.
I'll second that.
No, you guys got to say it.
We gotta
Okay.
make the motion, but does anybody have
That
any
was so weird.
questions? I'll just start by, I'll move that the board of directors approve the allocation of $29,856.37 from the roads reserve fund for the Marina parking lot regrading project.
Second.
Does anyone have any discussion on that? Basically, it's a time materials contract, so Tyler will just calculate invoices we calculated based on labor rates and equipment rates for the contractor. So it's not a bid, it's not a bidded job done by unit prices. It's basically paying the contractor for what they're out of pocket. With the markups for profit and stuff baked into those rates.
So the other thing about this contractors, they have been patiently waiting. They're the ones that we contracted with for the golf course bridge that's been delayed due to county permitting. So they've not really made any demands because of impact. So since, like what you says, it's time and material and it's fair market rate, that's the other reason that it's being recommended, is because it's kind of like a good relationship. Anybody else would have come in at that same rate or close to it, but that's why they're recommending this contractor, since we put him on hold during a busy time, basically.
Any other discussion? All right, we'll call the question. The motion on the table was that the board of directors approve the allocation of $29,856.37 from the roads reserve fund for the Marina parking lot regrading project. All of those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. We will move on to the Guardian Security Services. I believe I'm passing it back over to Rich again.
So Guardian Security, so looking, if you look at your packet, Security Solutions Northwest has been our main provider for security needs at Sudden Valley. A server upgrade to our existing systems triggered the board to have a staff research and solicit proposals. And this is the proposal that we received. Some major system changes. The cameras, we're going to go to an OpenEye cloud service to replace the current cameras. The advantage of this is that it makes it easier for security and staff to access the cameras, and also provides a greater protection of data in case of system failure. We're going to a Brevo door access control panel to replace the WinPack, which is easier to use for both residents and for staff to interface with. All the locations with intrusion alarms are going to be updated. And then the services under this, the OpenEye camera has a 2-year warranty for parts and labor and will be covered for 2 years by Guardian. The door access Brevo has a lifetime parts and labor, and the DMP alarms has a 3-year parts and labor. So better replacements typically occur at 5 years. Their on-site service calls are $175, which is a 2-hour minimum. But the Brevo and OpenEye are cloud services, so most of that should be done remotely, and there's no service charge for remote support. The monitoring is done locally in the Seattle branch, and the total contract time is 3 years. It's recommended that the board approve this contract. The time, if approved, we will schedule work upon the formal approval of the contract. 0% of the installation fee upon approval is necessary to proceed. The balance is to be paid in progressed payments as invoiced by a Guardian, with the payment in full due upon system deployment completion. Total funding is $45,717 with a monthly service fee of $770 a month. And it should be a 36-month contract, not 60 months, because the total contract time is 3 years. So the motion, if the board so approves, is to approve awarding Guardian a contract to include $45,716.68 in labors and materials, and a commitment of $770 a month in service fees.
Me, then Sonia.
Okay, a couple of questions. You said that the call out fee is what you said, $125 per time. And so I want to know how many times we're having to call them out, because $774 a month is a fair bit. And I understand, having the information more secure, but if it's just for ease for staff, I mean, $45,000 is a lot. Like, why do we need the upgrade?
Well, I can say it for certain, and sat with John and looked at our cameras, and we've gotten numerous announcements from previous management staffs that our cameras do nothing. They catch nothing. You can't see anything. The camera that sits on top of the Marina building can't even read license plate numbers with the people parked right in front of the building. That's how bad some of this stuff is. Some of the cameras are in black and white still. Some are a little bit newer. So I will say some of that, but.
So there's also the issue of our alarm systems aren't working properly. They go off all the time. It's a dated system that needs to be replaced, and we're paying a lot of money. So Rich, do you have a cost comparison of what we're currently paying versus this changeover?
So I wasn't able to get it in writing, but I went and talked to our county manager, and in 2021 we spent $30,000 for security solutions and with the service we're getting now.
Compared to how much is this annually?
Compared to, so this would be $774. So that's what times maybe $8,000 a year.
Yeah,
And
about
then
almost 10, but still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost $10,000. So we're getting a more robust and updated system for just over maybe $15,000 that we spent last year, which was 30,000.
I'd also like to point out that with Guardian, with Security Solutions, our current provider, we've had a lot of problems with them coming out, and if they fixed things, they didn't fix it adequately because we'd have to call them out again within a month or two, which is not acceptable. And so, in an ideal world, you don't necessarily want to change your provider, but if your provider is not providing service that measures up in terms of you can't identify who's doing things when things are happening, around the Sudden Valley community, and when things are like alarms aren't working properly, they continue to not work properly, but you've paid, hundreds, if not $1,000 or more to have them come out and repair them. Then it's a problem, and it's been an ongoing problem. And as Rich said, one of the key advantages here is, all these providers charge a fee for coming out on site, but these guys don't. These guys, most of what they do, they've said they can fix without having to come out on site, and there's no service charge if they can fix it remotely. So that's a significant difference in potential savings. The devil's always in the details. So these guys have a good reputation, though, and we've got experience with the current provider that is not so good.
So I have a question. I don't see cameras on here. What I see is OpenEye, which is the software that connects to the cameras. So am I missing that?
So I don't know if there's no new cameras. I do know that I believe, and I don't know if John, is John still with us? Because I believe that they looked at our cameras and they made an assessment of some that would work, that they could hook up to our system, and then a potential need for others. But I did not follow the whole process closely, so I'm not quite sure.
So if you look on page 3 of the document, you're going to see where they're replacing 4 cameras at the marina, where it says OpenEye, and it gives a part number. And these are the 4K 8 MP infrared Vandal bullets, 2.8 to 12 millimeter motor auto winding. Those are 4 cameras. And then here it says there's 4 cameras at the dance barn. And then if you follow that same track, and you go to a camera at least one of the cameras at the clubhouse is going to be changed out. Yeah. So at least, yeah.
I
And then,
okay.
Right. And then of course they're also going to be changing out all the comms panels and pads for the alarm system. So if you look at page 2 again, you're going to see the alarms communication kits, the zone panel keypad, siren, in a communicator and a backup battery, changing out motion detectors, changing out another large communications kit pad, a 3rd one at the marina, 4th one, so, and a 5th one there. So there is some installation involved, and where they're replacing what we currently have as either being incompatible or outdated.
Would we be covering the cost of all this out of the operations budget? Or would we pay for the equipment through our capital funds with the monthly payments coming out of ops?
So and then that's a question that I had because in my world, in the world that I came from, security systems, access control would not be considered a capital expenditure because that's something that's determined by the client or the resident or the owner of the facility's use of the facility. So if it's just a place to just meet, then you don't need access control. You can just leave the regular construction lots. But because we are requiring access control, is that in the past been considered a capital expenditure here at Sudden Valley, or has it been considered, maintaining the way that we want to operate the facilities?
I think the equipment total is what? It's close to 35,000 total in equipment or
45.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if that was all equipment, but I'm saying I think the equipment should be capital cost and then monthly expenditures go into the operations.
I think you can choose either way. I would tend to go with where Sonia's going, but I understand where Rich is coming from too. So to me, it's kind of for the board to decide which way they want to go on that.
I know we do have I think we do have camera stuff in the reserve study. I can't remember if the alarm system boxes and servers and stuff like that are part of the reserve study. I'd have to go look.
So I just pulled up the AGM budget proposal, which is what I think we're working on right now, correct? So under the 2022 CRF, it shows all the way on page 52, it shows security cameras under the CRRF, the SURF. I don't know if that helps in making a decision.
The accountant and finance committee figured that out, and because I don't think any of us are really qualified to know where it needs to go because we don't see the numbers. Are we just voting on whether to do it or not, or are we voting on where the money comes from?
Sonia, you're talking, your lips are moving, but you're muted.
I was saying that since it's already on the equipment is on the reserve study. So it goes back to, it makes sense to put this equipment cost as a component that's listed on the reserve study, where then we just have the monthly expenses coming out of ops as we currently do right now. We just keep it the way it is.
I see Barn 8 fire system repair, which I think has to do with the fire alarm system.
But it does have cameras on there too. It's the full thing. It says security access control replacement. It's on page 167 of the 2022 SURF reserve study. And so that's got the full system in here. It talks about security access control replacement. So it just makes sense we just utilize it like that. It's got the full access control system, the card readers, the cameras, etc. doesn't make sense to not. It just makes sense to leave it like that. We used capital expenses serve for the equipment.
Yeah. I see that now. Sam?
Yeah, it's all tied in now. We've got these systems. It's more like life safety equipment that's part of the building, same as air conditioning. It's like it's mandatory now to have that for security, and we've got to have it. And so it's just another part of the building system. So I would think that it would be just the same as refrigeration, plumbing, or life safety equipment.
Yep, it's definitely in the reserve study there. And the 2022 one says replacement year of 2022. And that total in the reserve study is actually 186,000. So this is coming in significantly lower than that. Well, I'll make a motion that the board of directors approve the allocation of $45,716.68 from the SURF fund for new security and access equipment, and committing to a monthly service agreement of $774 out of the operations budget.
Second.
Does anybody have any further discussion on that? All right, we'll call the question. Motion was just stated. All those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. All right, we will move on to the rekeying of facilities. I'll pass that back to Rich.
So again, if you look at your packet, we're asking for the award to A1 Mobile Lock and Key to rekey the entire campus, which is all the common area facilities. So there's no formal key custody control program at Sudden Valley, and numerous entryways need service. Additionally, there have been intrusions made on the clubhouse premises, one of which warranting a call to local authorities to escort an individual off the local Sudden Valley grounds. That individual has since been found 2 other times and was escorted off by security. There's no key hierarchy established. We usually just, it appears as though we just have keys for individual doors and then a master key just for everything. So having a key just for the administrative side of the admin building, or a key just for accounting, and being able to access all the spaces in accounting, or being able to reduce the amount of keys that were given out for individuals only to the places where they need to have them. It's recommended that the board approve $25,000 to cover the A1 Mobile Lock and Key rekey campus. Contract is written with the additional funding for areas that were initially not identified in the initial survey. The survey was done by myself and Mike Brock. We're both the 2 newest managers at this place. And so we may not have taken him to every single door that needed to get repaired or replaced. The total contract is $22,492.75. And so the remainder, $2,500, we'll be able to cover, if necessary, up to 10 places, covering, a combination of 10 different other doors or locks or padlocks that need to get replaced, and or 7 levers. So the motion I would put to the board, I just moved it from myself. So the motion I would put to the board is to award the rekeying of the facilities project to A1 Mobile Lock and Key and provide a funding line of $25,000.
I didn't see who raised their hand first, but
It's Timey, then
Timey,
Sonia, then
yeah.
Sandy.
okay. You're muted, Timey.
You're muted, Timey.
Sorry about that. I was just looking at the Marina and I don't know why we need 11 high security cylinders. I don't know what I'm missing, but we just have the little building. Where else are we looking at high security cylinders down there?
The docks, they're the docks.
So
and
there's so just like Sonia was saying, there's the gates at the actual facility. There's the so because of the intrusions that we were having at the clubhouse with somebody who is, for lack of a better terms, a homeless person, and that there was some damage at some of the other facilities. Our thought was that to make all the doors, exterior doors that could allow you entrance into the marina, high security locks, keep them all in the same hierarchy, and so that we can then maybe not have to give out a master key, but give out an individual key for the marina itself, so that whoever's working there can access the entire marina space, but that key can't be copied or remade by anybody but the manufacturer who we contracted with. So that's the biggest thing, is that these keys are the type of keys where somebody can't take them to Home Depot or Lowe's and make a copy.
So how would that affect the gates? Because right now they're a key card. Am I missing? I don't know what I'm missing.
So the gates are key cards, and then what it would do is it would put them all on the same hierarchy for the entire common areas. So if I was here, or if I was one of the managers on duty for the weekend, and we had a problem down at the marina, my one master key that I now have signed out and then get audited every 3 months is able to open any of those doors down there without having to look for somebody with a key. And I can handle that situation, if I need to come down there.
So Marina customers would still have their key cards.
Yeah. So there's no intention to remove access from the residents with the rekeying of the facilities.
Sonia, then Sandy.
Well, yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people don't realize, there was a key hierarchy at one time that existed, but somewhere along the line, what Rich is alluding to is that people have made copies of the master keys. And so almost all of our employees are holding master keys. They can get into any facility. And we also found out that volunteers had those master keys. Former general managers have those master keys. We've had issues with people accessing our archives inappropriately. There's a lot of reasons that we have to take this now and go ahead and put this back into order. So yes, the hierarchy did exist, but it's been overridden by a lot of carelessness, and these no one has kept up with these keys over the last couple of years, and so it's time to get it back in order. So that's what I just wanted to comment on, is that it's been an ongoing problem that we found that volunteers should never have a master key to get into any of our facilities. It just should not even have ever occurred like that. And the same goes for our regular employees, shouldn't have master keys to get into everywhere, including our accounting offices. We just got to start behaving like the business that we are. So I support this.
Andy?
So my concern again is documentation with policies, and a report from Rich and Dan every 6 months about the status. Oh, we found 2 more doors, but the sign out policy for a key is working well, or just something that's in place so that every 2 years or 5 years you don't have to put out this much money to level set again. So I'm just concerned that we develop those policies and enforce them. Thank you.
If I could answer that, so in my time in the Navy in the construction field, you know, a lot of facilities management, a lot of facilities oversight, and you just have to develop a paper trail where people actually sign out the key, and then you develop an audit schedule where you randomly audit people's keys every 3 months. You know, you just randomly pick people and say, hey, where's your key? You know, and they have to present the key within, 1 to 2 days, or, then it becomes we have to do an actual report, have us reported lost or stolen. And then if it's negligence, then you have to hold whoever lost the key accountable.
Thanks, Rich. Brian?
Yeah, I just want to say it's a great idea to move forward with this new lock structure and change the keys. It just seems like another example of this board fixing a failed policy of the past. So anyway, good stuff.
All right. Well, I'll make a motion that the board of directors approve the allocation of $25,000 from the SURF fund for the lock and key rekeying project. And approve a contract with A1 Mobile Lock and Key.
Second.
Any other questions on that? All right, we'll call the question. Motion was just stated. All those in favor? That passes unanimously. All right, we will move on to the document review committee recommendation on a policy.
Nancy's going to have me pull it since I pulled hers, right? So this is just a housekeeping item where this policy is called the Budget Development Policy, policy number 2019.02. It was put into, it was created after the membership voted for the dues limitations bylaw. That particular board implemented a policy. In the hierarchy of governing documents, the bylaws obviously supersede a policy, but this policy actually references the bylaw limitation and says that it's a guideline. It's not a guideline, it's not a suggestion, it's an actual bylaw. And so it makes sense to just remove this useless policy to avoid any future confusion by the membership or any other future board. That is a bylaw. It is a dues limitation bylaw voted by a super majority of the membership. And this policy, it is not a guideline and it's not a suggestion. And so this is just to make sure that that's clear. Like I said, it's just a housekeeping item. So I'd like to make a motion, if I can, to rescind policy number 2019.02, the budget development policy.
Second. Yeah, I'll just say I remember the policy was put in place after the bylaw limitation was ignored and they raised dues by 13 or 14% instead of at most a 7%.
I remember that.
So they put this policy in place to say, oh, sorry, we didn't listen to you. We'll consider trying to do better next time. Timing?
You're muted.
Sorry, bad for that tonight. Is there anything on that shows that in this package just so I can see it? Or is it?
The policies in the packet, page 5 of the PDF.
Oh, okay.
It's a very short policy.
I wasn't quite sure what that was when it was in there.
Any other questions on that?
How'd that look, Tommy? Was it okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool.
All right, we'll call the question then. The motion on the table was to rescind policy number 2019.02, budget development policy. All those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. All right, I believe that is the last agenda item, so we'll move to property owner comments.
Okay, I see one. Hold on. Okay, I see two hands up. So Tom, I'm gonna bring you on over. Go ahead and speak when you're ready.
All right, just a quick comment. Tammy, I don't think you did anything wrong earlier. There was no breach of protocol there. The meeting hadn't been called to order. The only other comment I wanted to make was that in the contracting world, time and material is gold. That is the gold standard. Why didn't we put the parking lot resurfacing up for bid? I mean, you've got to have a full audit team in place to watch contractors on a time and material, because it's not just time and material, they also get a profit margin. This has to be watched. I mean, every contractor in the world wants time and material jobs. I did. I loved them.
Yeah, that's how time and material works. We have P&W, who's our project manager, and they manage the construction end. It's 2 days worth of work, and the amount of time and effort and money going into having P&W try to put together a full bid package to then put out to bid, you're not really saving yourself any money.
Yeah, but who's going to watch them? That's my question.
Our project manager.
And he's going to be there full time, watching how many employees are on site, how many deliveries are made. They can bill for whatever they want, but unless somebody's going to audit it, you're not going to catch it. That's how it works.
That's how it works. Yes, he is there to monitor the construction.
Okay, that's it.
All right.
We also have Dan and Rich to be able to help support those efforts too.
All right. The only other hand I see is Linda, so I'll bring you back over. There you go, Linda. You can unmute when you're ready.
Hi, Linda Bradley, 5 Wisteria Lane. I have a couple of questions. These requests that came for the all of the requests were all over $10,000. I thought there was a policy on the board that any project or contract that's over $10,000 is supposed to have 3 bids. If it doesn't have 3 bids, there's supposed to be an explanation why there wasn't. That's my first concern. My second concern is that none of these requests indicated, at least the Guardian and the rekeying, that the basic hard cost was to come out of SURF. And normally that's included on, it's referred to as a capital memo, because with operating expenses, we don't need them. And I don't understand why finance isn't looking at this, because for instance, on the one that's the $45,000 that you made an allotment for, if you look at the last page of that bid, it says that sales tax is not included. And if you're going to make a complete capital memo, you would go back and have somebody calculate that in, because that's like, what, $3,300? I don't know what sales tax is anymore, but tax isn't included on that. And it's like, these are the little things that finance used to catch a lot and help with before these sort of things came to the board. And with new people on staff, I think it would do well to run it past finance, because there are some very good people on finance that are aware of, if something unusual like this comes up. So those are my comments.
Rich, do you want to tell her why there wasn't more bids on that? On the rekey?
So on the rekey, so staff made every effort to contact three vendors to provide proposals and to present to the board. The current contractor bid met the timeline for the board meeting, and the second still has not submitted it. Attempts to contact a third contractor were unsuccessful. And we just felt that given, again, the incursions by a homeless person 3 times into the clubhouse, knowing that we had locked the place, knowing that security had checked the keys, and perhaps there were some doors that were some key locks that were damaged, that maybe they appeared to lock, as in the door that goes to that goes out, that's right next to the golf.
Maybe don't give all the descriptions of the doors that don't work.
Well, we fixed it now. We fixed how it's supposed to work. You just have to go and check it every day. But given some of those things that we were concerned with, we felt that pushing this forward, seeing that it was reasonable in comparison to historical data, and then my reference as far as doing buildings in the government world, we felt it was more prudent to put this to the board and for a vote.
Josh?
Yeah, I understand the emergency of this. I would just say that, moving forward, I know you guys look for these bids. We really, really got to make sure that we're hitting those bids, because everyone looks at that. I look at it, we want to be able to have those options, and I can understand how it can get kind of tight there. It's happened in the past, and but I think the community wants to know that you're going to do your due diligence to make sure that happens, and we all know you do. But I just had to say it.
I just want to follow up on that, because the reality is that because of a variety of reasons, the entire construction industry, which this is also a part of, is just really slammed. So they're pretty happy and they've got lots of work, but it means that they're less likely to bid on projects. I know about a month or so ago, I was trying to get a plumber, and it was impossible to get a plumber within a week. And that involved a lot of calls. Finally, Tyler leaned on somebody he knew and got somebody out here for us. But I do want to tell you that I'm in that office. I know what Rich was going through, trying to get a hold of folks to make bids. And for whatever reason, it was a pretty dry well. I mean, we're lucky we got the one that we wanted to make a bid. So that was good. And we've got another that may be coming in the next couple of days. But the other part of it is when you give people a chance to make a bid and they don't make the timeline, that's kind of, at some point you make a choice. And so, certainly if you guys just said you want us to go and bring more in, we can take more time and do that. I can tell you inflation is running pretty hot, and I don't see the situation changing appreciably in terms of what we got as a value for this.
Also, it does not say that we will bring in 3 votes. Three bids. It says we will endeavor to bring in 3 bids, because you cannot always. It's not unusual. It's historically. There's been multiple occasions since I've lived here for the last decade where 3 bids haven't come in for various reasons. So yes, I agree 100%. You guys need to make a good faith effort. You need to make sure you communicate why you aren't bringing in the bids if you're coming in under 3. Most of us behind the scenes know why these are, but when you're presenting them, just make that part of the package maybe in the future. Thank you.
By the way, I'm not saying the effort wasn't there. I just know that even myself, in the past, we're all sticklers for the bids. And I just want to put that out there that, that's never going to change in this community. And got to say something about it, right? Thank you for your hard work.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any other raised hands. So, oh wait. Oh, here goes one. Gonna bring you on over, Cheryl. Go ahead and unmute when you're ready. Hello?
You there, Cheryl? Not hearing you.
All right.
Something's wrong with your microphone, or
I'll do it one more time. I'll pull you back over. Unmute when you're ready. I see you unmuting, but we can't hear you.
Okay, give me.
Oh, there we are. Oh, there we are.
Can you can hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to say, in the midst of all the negativity that's going on, you guys are working hard, and it's greatly appreciated. I know there's a lot of contention in the community at the moment. It's unfortunate, but it's reality. And I just want you to know that from my end of it, I appreciate the fact that you're hanging in there and you're all trying hard to do a great job. So thank you, every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you, Cheryl.
All right, so I don't see any other raised hands, AJ.
All right. Oh,
Sandy has her hand raised.
No? Okay. Well, I move to adjourn then at 9:12 p.m.
Second.
All right.